friends, it's Marianne here, and I am just so deeply touched by some of you who have been sending me handwritten notes, and some of them have come from a long way, some of them come from locally, but today I just want to highlight two people that I'm just really touched by. And isn't this a gorgeous card? Look at that, that's so beautiful. Anyway, this is from Tanya Longest, and she wrote, "Thank you for your thoughtful posts and articles." I want to thank you, Tanya Longest, for this beautiful card. I'm deeply touched that you would take the time to write a handwritten note to me about Facebook posts, and I'm deeply touched by any of you that actually take the time to read and comment on them, because right now we're living in a time where dialogue is not an easy thing to do. People get so angry at each other for having opposing points of view, and my only request I ask any of you is that please feel free to debate, feel free to have opposite opinions from each other, from me. Just make sure it's on topic. As I was sharing with a friend of mine earlier this week, you know, if I post, "I like brownies better than cookies," and you feel absolutely the opposite and say, "No, cookies are better than brownies," that's great. Go ahead, have your debate. Just don't go, "Well, it doesn't matter because we're not serving either for dinner." So that's the kind of thing I'm trying to get people to understand. Debate on topic, debate vehemently, debate, go ahead, fire breathing, whatever you want to be, go ahead and debate to your heart's content, you know, fight it out, as long as you stay on topic, and please be respectful of each other. All of you are my Facebook friends, so if someone out there has an incredibly different opinion than you, they're not evil, they're my friend too, just like you are. And what I want to make sure is that my page is always something for people can feel comfortable to share their different views on and share their own ideas. That's why I don't block it and just have one of those pages just like me. I have my public page for that stuff, but my more casual Facebook page, I make it public, and I want to keep it as an open forum so people can have the dialogues that we need to have in a civilized society. So anyway, again, thank you so much, Tanya Longest, for this gorgeously beautiful card. Look at that detail of that card. Isn't that gorgeous? And for thinking of me. And I want to do another shout out to someone who is so sweet and beautiful. Her name is Andrea. She is all the way over in Switzerland. Isn't this gorgeous? This is where she is. She gets to ski. I am so jealous. I haven't gotten up to Aspen this year. So, just absolutely gorgeous place where she gets to be on the slopes. And Andrea is just doing a beautiful job out there, doing so much to try and help change things in terms of human rights. I don't know if a lot of people know this, but Switzerland was the last country in the world to give women the right to vote. It's among first world countries, that is. And she is one of the women out there that is trying to fight to change things for the better, and one of very intelligent, articulate women. And she was also one of the first people I ever met on Facebook that ever wrote a check to the Mimizine Institute. She wrote it to our Green Source DFW program. And to me, that says a lot, because it's one thing to always give in your backyard, but when you care about the world, because we realize that we're all in this together on this little blue ball we call the earth, when you care about the world and you go that extra mile to do something in someone else's backyard because you realize at the end of the day, it's yours too. It's all of our responsibility. That says a lot about a person. So Andrea actually helped a lot of you here in Dallas, Texas that love the Green Source DFW program. So if you've ever enjoyed Oak Cliff Earth Day, our Run for the Environment, or if you subscribe to greensourcedfw.org online to get our weekly things that people write, from Julie Thibodeau, you know, Amy Martin, all these people that are writing so many things, which while they're based here in Dallas, they're actually internationally relevant, because so many of the companies that environmentalists are battling against, unfortunately, are based here in our backyard. So thank you, Andrea Kessler, for what you did for the local community and for the national and international community when you made that contribution a while back. And thank you for this beautiful card. And, you know, just, she wrote, "Wishing you all the best, and hopefully you can visit Switzerland soon again." And she is a beautiful woman. Probably she's someone that I would call a healer, and somebody who shares, like me, kind of a witchy path. Witchy meaning somebody that understands that there is nature spirits, there's beauty and the intrinsic value of life in all things. And I really respect her. So anyway, all out to Andrea. Thank you for the card. It's such an awesome thing to get something. Here, let me show you guys a stamp. Isn't that beautiful? it is so cool to receive something from all the way elsewhere in the world. And their stamps gorgeous. Anyway, just wanted you guys to see that. And so thank you for all of you that have been sending me cards. And these are just a few that I scrounged up today. If you're among some of the others that have sent me stuff, thank you. A huge shout out to those of you that are also working for the Missing and Murdered Indigenous Women. I still have my t-shirt that you guys sent to me. And all those of you that are continuing to do so much good work in the world. Don't lose heart, don't lose faith. I know many people are being very frustrated right now because yeah, there's a lot that isn't working on in the world. But you know what? The way we change it is every single one of us has the capacity. We have the capacity to make a difference in this world. And the way we do it is by getting off our keisters and not just looking at the bad stuff. As I tell all my environmentalists, yeah, go march, go watch how you use plastic, go do all the right things. But you know what? And when you get all angry and you just stay in that mindset, it runs you down. You also got to remember what you're fighting for, meaning take that walk around the block, smell a flower, go in the forest, you know, eat a gorgeous heirloom tomato, do something that reminds you why you're fighting. You know, if you're fighting for human rights, great, but then go spend time with your LGBT brothers and sisters, go spend time with your Hispanic or Black or, you know, friends, or, you know, go spend time with, you know, women who are fighting for women's rights. You know, just go take the time to go spend time with those whose rights you're fighting for and remind yourself how fun it is, how good and how enriched the world is when we have that wide diversity around us. So whether it's human rights, the environment, whatever you're doing, please, please, please don't get so wound up in the fight that we forget the joy of life and living and why all of us matter, why you matter. Now, you know, all that being said, yes, under the Trump administration, there are a lot of things that are very challenging. I know that we're all fighting things left and right. I remind people to look back at history and remember, you know, why we're fighting, because if we look at the patterns of history, we can remember what others have done, both on the good side and bad side of history. Both are important. But if you remember what Abraham Lincoln did after the Civil War, he made so many changes, super fast, boom, 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 that the other side didn't have a chance to catch up. They're like, wait. And because there were so many things for them to fight, they could never coalesce around one thing to fight and push for that one thing. And what that meant is that Abraham Lincoln got a lot done really, really fast, which sadly probably led to his assassination. But the point being, right now, and that was all for the good, but right now we have a president that's kind of taking a similar tack, because every day we wake up and there's something new. You know, he's made ivory legal to import it, and he's gotten rid of water restrictions. He thinks asbestos should come back on the market. You know, it's like if it's evil, he's doing it. And it's happening left, right. And so all of us who care about other people, whether we're moderates or progressives, we're like, wait, and we can't focus. And that's normal. But the point is take a look at it, take a step back and go, wait a minute. We can see this. This has happened in the past in history. What worked, what didn't work in that time, and how can we as individuals learn from that past and go, how do we apply it today? Similarly, let's take a look also back in that era during Abraham Lincoln's time and recognize that what was the one thing he said that really needed to happen? It was rebuilding the South. He said if the infrastructure didn't come back in, if people didn't have jobs, if all the towns that hadn't been rebuilt, that had been torn down, weren't rebuilt, that we would end up in a place where all of that angst was coming back to us down the road. And right now, those of you that have been telling me that you don't understand where all this anger and fear and vitriol is coming from, sadly, Abraham Lincoln saw it, and he was very, very right, because this is exactly where we are today. And when we understand that, then we can start going, okay, what needs to happen? What needs to happen right now is, yeah, there are a lot of areas, especially in the South, that have been overlooked, people whose needs have not been paid attention to. So we need to extend those olive branches, and not just in word, but in action. We need to be able to invest in local businesses. We need to be, or it doesn't even have to be local in our backyard, but go out and find those areas where people are struggling. And, you know, people don't think about Appalachia. You know, when Mimsy was looking at trying to put its God of a Box program out there, one of the most unexpected things that we ever got was a lady from Appalachia going, we need that here. And we're like, you're not a third world countries, like, come over here and take a look and you'll understand why I think we are. And I remember going up to the White House and people said, yeah, if anyone lives there, they're on their own. So, this is the reality a lot of people are feeling stuck in. And that's why they voted for Trump. And that's why they'll vote for him again if they don't hear those of us who are moderate or progressive speaking to their needs. And we need to understand that those who are dealing with impoverished situations, when we talk about issues in intellectual capacity like Medicaid or food stamps, we're not just talking about it in terms of theory, although there's of course a whole intellectual legal capacity on that. What we need to be talking about it is in reality and pragmatic ways in which it's affecting people, and we need to be listening. Right now we're very blessed that the Mimsy Institute has one of the leading initiatives in the entire country fighting food waste, thanks to the very Reverend Dr. Todd Collier. But as I keep telling everybody, the thing that keeps coming up again and again for the everyday person is they're trying to juggle, do they pay their mortgage and rent, do they pay for their health care, or do they put food on the table? And there's so many people right now that are working multiple jobs and they're doing an amazing job juggling their lives and caring for their families, but they just can't get that last thing. I mean, right now, my mom, she has Alzheimer's, and it's been very, very stressful and hard for me. But I'm very, very blessed that my father left the means to be able to take care of her. And yet, about 4 days ago, I read a heartbreaking story about here in Dallas, about a woman who was taking care of her father who had dementia, and she took a shower and he left the house, and they spent 48 hours looking for him, and he was found passed away. That's the difference that money makes in terms of helping people make sure that the people they care about are going to be okay. I know my mom won't wander off because I can afford to have someone there 24/7. Not everybody has that ability. So when we start talking about cutting Medicaid, and we start talking about, just cutting the whole Meals on Wheels and, all these different things, it comes down to people. And that's what I want us all to remember. So regardless of where you live, here in the United States, or if you happen to live all the way in Switzerland, please think about empathy and compassion and applying in a pragmatic way to not just where you live, but where other people live, and think about how are the challenges that people are realizing over there affecting my life here, and how's my life here affecting people over there. Here in Dallas, we have Energy Transfer Partners. We have a number of other companies that are making decisions that are adversely affecting lives in a lot of places around the world. There's something that not all of you have heard, but there's a term called man camps. Man camps are when you have a bunch of men that are employed usually by the oil or gas industry, and they form a camp, and they're put in an area that's usually very far away from anything, but they're often close to indigenous reservations. And that's why you end up with, sadly, a whole lot of indigenous women who are kidnapped or sex trafficked or raped, killed, etc., etc. And, so these are things that are not new issues, but they're chronic issues, and they're coming to a head because so much is happening. And here in Dallas right now, we are a place where, unfortunately, so many people are bought and sold. And so, for example, there's a lady up from North Dakota, mother of 3 children, and she was kidnapped, sex trafficked, and found here in Dallas, thank God. But right now, we're about to come up with the Super Bowl. And the Super Bowl is the #1 time that women and young boys are bought and sold during that time. So we're talking auctioned off men and children. And it always happens right in line with the Super Bowl. And right now also we have an issue that we need to pay attention to. You have a lot of people who love the Chiefs, and that's fine, that's great, all about the football. I'm a Texas girl, I understand. It runs as deep as the blood in our veins down here in the South. But what we need to be having a conversation about is the whole black face, red face kind of thing. If you feel that putting black paint on a face would really upset you, or seeing somebody do that who is white, well, then imagine how somebody feels when somebody paints red on their face or brown makeup on their face and they say, haha, I'm an Indian. It really doesn't work that way. My mom is 1/4 Blackfoot. I'm obviously mostly Native American in my DNA, and we were very, very humbled to get to be at the front line of the Women's March. And the main thing that we were marching for in that front of the line, while we cared about all the different issues, but the reason we joined them there this year was for the murdered and missing Indigenous women. And so, there's an irony in this conversation that right now, that the #1 time that women especially are bought and sold is at the Super Bowl, and especially the #1 demographic of women that are being bought and sold in the United States right now are Native American women. And here you have a big Super Bowl team called the Chiefs, and people are painting their faces red. And if we could at least get to the point where people weren't doing that, maybe we could begin to have some kind of conversation that could help bring our community together. And people say, well, what's the big deal? Well, it is a big deal. It is a big deal not to see your demographic cartoonified in a highly demeaning way. And so these are real people. And that's what I encourage everyone to look at. So wherever you are in the world, please reach out to your neighbor. Please understand that everybody is struggling with something, a major challenge. And just because we don't see it doesn't mean that they're not experiencing it. So right now, I'm just asking everybody in the world, wherever you are, please, please, please pay attention to the details of what's going on in the world around us. Please recognize your role in this is incredibly powerful. Please know that you are extremely important by the decisions you make every day on a daily basis. Please know that I care immensely about every single one of you, because I know that if you're one of these people who are active on my Facebook page, you're out there actively engaging and making a difference in this world. And I am so humbled and proud to know each and every one of you. So please continue on what you're doing. This has the potential to be a great year of change, because yes, not just are we voting new politicians in and out and all sorts of things, but whenever there's some chaos going on, there's an opportunity for creativity. And that doesn't necessarily have to be negative creativity. It can be positive. And the way that is if every single one of you takes the reins of your own life and chooses to make that impact. So I'm looking forward to hearing what you guys are all doing this coming year. I want to do a big shout out to my friend Crinchow Stone, who is out there in Malaysia. She has been going all over Southeast Asia, changing lives, teaching people how to do cupping. I mean, look at me. I feel so much better right now. And part of it is because of the work that she did with me with cupping. She helps reduce my seizures and the pain from the seizures tremendously. And she is actually teaching women over there in Malaysia, and she's been in Laos, she's been in Cambodia, she has been in Thailand, in Vietnam, teaching people to do the same modality so that they can heal each other even more. So big shout out to her. Big shout out to Hasba, to Posey, who greeted Crinchow and has helped link her up with other healers and our other people in Malaysia. So love all of you. That's how change is made, when we collaborate and meet and work together. So recognizing you guys for it. And a big shout out for my friend Tanya Ariales Rodriguez, who is going to be giving birth in a few weeks. So I know that you are going to be a gorgeous, wonderful mother, and you are doing something so courageous, and every single one of you that's a mother is courageous too, but just wanted to acknowledge Tanya, because you are my spirit sister. So love to all of you out there. And again, one more big thank you to these two beautiful people that gave me these wonderful cards this year. So lots of love to you. Talk to you soon.